Hello again. So today let's go into fabrics and leather, and we will start with leather, and for that I will change actually this material. I thought I would make it fabric, but today I decide to change it. So I just go into the material attributes, and here the only thing I set was the color. So I'm just changing the cloth here to a leather, and I take, let me see, that one. I want a white one, and I also have here the displacement and roughness maps. I will also use them. So that's the first thing. Let's see. Okay, I have just a little bit of structure here, and I change here also the bump map. So let's go here into geometry, go to bump mapping. It's always the same process. I think you know it in the meanwhile. Leather, so this, I try to use, of course I can also, when you want to have an heavier effect, then take here the displacement. Of course you can also do a displacement map. I will explain that in the next tutorial. This will make, or would make, a more rough effect. I could also use this map as a bump map, so it just depends on you. What do you want to try? I take the normal here and see what is the result. I just switch here. I leave it here to bump and see what the result is. So the preview is not too bad, but I will check actually in the rendering. So just to show you the difference between several settings. So this was the normal map used as a bump map. So and with the value of 1 was too hard. Then I changed actually the bump depth to 0.1. Then I also tried here to what happens when I use the normal map here as tangent space normals. This is the result of that. And the last thing I tried is actually I used it this map here. So I used that as bump map, and actually I'm most happy with that. But the things I will do is I change my UVs a little bit because it is too fine, the pattern, and I even change the bump depth even more. So I just try 0.01, and in the UV editor I scale here my 2 UV shells so that the pattern isn't so tiny. So I'm just trying a little bit, and then keep my image and then have another rendering. So I like the pattern more, but I think the value was too less now for bump mapping. So I'm just going inside again, and maybe I take that one. And what I also do, I also insert the roughness map immediately. Of course I can also adjust it here to give it a little more roughness, because leather isn't that specky. So, but I have a roughness map, so I use it. So this was where it is. Here we have the roughness map, and then let's have another rendering. So this is more or less my final result, and for that rendering I also increased the render settings to actually the high values, because the fine structures that you see here, when you do a rendering, for example, like that, that was not that was the basic settings of the render quality, and you see here that you don't see that much, and it's also rendered here in a smaller resolution. And yes, when you get here, I have a higher resolution, and when you increase the light samples and the render settings here, then you will see actually a better result. So of course, there is no magic perfect settings for leather. It always depends on how does the light affect actually the settings you have. And of course, you can have a last look. This is my final stuff here. Nothing special actually, because the maps do all the work. And what I also did, the roughness map, I just decreased it a little bit, or actually I put it to half of the transparency so that I have a little bit more specularity in it. And my bump map is here a value of 0.03. Yeah, but it always depends how the map looks like. So it depends on how gray or white, black are your basic maps, and you have always to try which settings fit your needs. Of course, when I do more close-up rendering, maybe I need some other settings or better maps or whatever. So just play around with it, and I hope you get a result that is satisfying to you. I don't know here. I think this is a kind of bump mapping result you see here, but I guess in another angle I don't see that actually. So yeah, you see also in a resolution where it's not too high and there is more grain in it, you don't see it so much, the effect of the leather. For that, you really have to increase your render settings and your light settings that you see actually a good result. So that was leather. Let's go on to fabric. The process is actually the same. So the couch is already UV layouted, so don't get confused when you see in the UV editor a really weird stuff, but actually it's layouted. You see it here, maybe not all of the parts, but actually we can use it quite well. Of course, this is a downloaded file. That's the reason why it is triangulated. You could quadrangulate it, but actually I don't mind. So what I do is I give it a new material. So let's see, what fabric should I take. Maybe I take the blue cloth. I have also a normal map of it. That one I will, or that one. So doesn't mind, but I don't have a bump map for that. Maybe I get myself one, or I make it on my own, because actually when I make this to black and white, maybe I could use it, or get yourself some fabric of the internet, doesn't matter. So take the blue one, and you see it already has a cool size of tiling, and it looks cool everywhere. And the only thing, so rename it sofa fabric. And I also have a normal map of that. I'll change it to 0.1 immediately, and I leave it to bump. I guess this will be a good result from the beginning, but let's check in a rendering. And before I do the rendering, I decrease here my settings again, because it would last quite long if I leave that. Maybe, yeah. So, and as you can see, it is way too shiny, but maybe I increased the bump depth a little bit more because I don't see that much of an effect. So I'm just trying, and I'm also changing actually my here my roughness. I don't have a roughness map, so I just increase my roughness, and I also decrease here the specular stuff a little bit. And so let's compare it. Well, it looks cool, I think. So don't have to do anything more. I will do just the rendering for the whole couch and see what the effect is, but actually that's it. So this is our result. Of course, when you increase your render settings and your light settings, you will see even more detail in the couch. But yeah, we're happy with that. Of course, we have still a lot to do with to create some walls, to create a floor. Here we have a carpet, and the desk is way too glossy, but that's it actually for fabrics.